What's going on, lads and lasses? It's ended there at St James's Park. Barcelona 2, Newcastle United 1. And it was not the way we wanted to start off this Champions League campaign, obviously, with a defeat to Barcelona. But, I mean, we've got to give the lads credit tonight. Eddie Howe and the lads did an absolutely amazing feat tonight. Yes, we lost the game, but we went into that game with pride. We went into that game with honour, and we showed it out there on the pitch tonight. We went toe-to-toe with Barcelona. We didn't sit back and defend against them. We didn't cower out of the match. We were literally going toe-to-toe with Barcelona in that game tonight, and we were the better of the sides. Unfortunately, however, we just fell short on the result of the game. Looking at the way, the game played out, there was many moments in the game where, we could have took the lead. There was a moment where Andy Elanga ran from our own half right the way past all the Barcelona players, down the right-hand side, cuts it across the box. Gordon tries to get on it. It goes past. It goes to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes takes a shot, and it ends up getting saved by the Barcelona keeper, who was linked with us, of course, in the summer window, Joan Garcia, of course. And he did some really crazy saves tonight to keep us out. So when you take that into consideration and look at how, many saves he had to pull off tonight and the way them saves were as well, if you've seen the match, you'll know what I'm on about. If you haven't seen the match, then just look at it back on the replay. I mean, that was absolutely crazy, the amount of saves that the Barcelona keeper had to pull off. There was some really big saves in there, especially the one, I think it was towards the second half of the game. Bruno had a shot from outside of the box towards the Gallagher end, and the save that Joan Garcia had to pull off for that was absolutely crazy. If he didn't pull that save off, Bruno is putting that ball in the back of the net at the Gallagher end. But it took Barcelona a while to get into the game. It took them a while to get on the score sheet. It wasn't until the 58th minute, that Rashford ended up getting on the score sheet, and the reason he did is because of a head injury to Fabian Shaw, who had went down just a few moments earlier with a head injury, and I don't think he should have continued on, to be honest. I don't know, what was going on there. From what was said, Fab said that he wanted to continue on. I think it's up to the medical team to step in there and say, you're not fit enough to carry on, and take him off, because just moments after that, we'll see the ball coming in from Jules Koundé. The ball comes in, and Rashford's getting on the end of it, and who's right next to him? It's Fabian Shaw, who is literally suffering from a concussion. And you could see that, when he was going off after he had went down, that he was suffering from a concussion. So we went 1-0 down 58th minute into the game, and then it wasn't until the 67th minute of the game we see Rashford for, of course, Barcelona doubling the lead with a 20-yard strike from outside the area towards the Liza's end, of course, at this point that we're kicking at. And, I mean, it's just one of those things. We've seen it before. We've all witnessed these moments with football. It happens when it's not your night, and unfortunately, we were doing a lot of attacks. We were getting in there. We were taking with chances and trying to get them into the net. The goalkeeper was saving them. But, Rashford got two lucky chances. One off of the fact that Fabian Shaw had a concussion, and then one off of the fact of, the long strike, which, to be honest, could have easily went over the board just as well as it going into the back of the net, because it did hit off the crossbar and go in. So it could have easily went over just the same. But then, we see Eddie bringing on Nick Voltemera from the bench, of course. And, of course, we're seeing other options coming off the bench as well. Murphy and Joe Willock coming off as well, the bench. Quite a few options coming off of the bench. And Anthony Gordon, of course, was opted to go up front. That maybe was, in hindsight, looking at it now, probably not the best option to choose, but I could see why Eddie went with it, because of the fact that, we've just seen Volta go off in the Wolves game because he was saying of cramping his legs. Obviously, the lads got to get used to the way the English game plays. So that is going to take a little while for him to get used to that. And that is obvious. That's something that we're just going to have to deal with. But maybe we should have went with him from the off here tonight. And then, maybe brought Gordon on in the second half once, we've secured at least the result in the game. But at the end of the day, it's done now. There's nothing we can do about that. I'm not going to, criticise by any means Eddie's selection there, because I can see why he did it. Trying to protect a player that is our only striking option right now, because other than, Volta, we've only got Usul after that. So we do have to keep, these players fit, and especially with the news of Wissa as well being out until after that international break in October. But a late lifeline into the game gave away a chance when Anthony Gordon, of course, slid in a finish. And what a finish it was. Really good finish. And, of course, got a late lifeline in the game. Possible chance to try and come back into the game, but unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. I mean, Barcelona, you could see we had wound them up. You could see that we got to them in the game when, we were coming towards the back end of the game, just as the game was about to close out. And we're seeing, ourselves on a runaway down the wing. I think Tino down the wing or Murphy down the wing. And the shirt is pulled back by the Barcelona player. A yellow card's given. And that right there, to me, cements in the mind, and it should cement in the mind of everybody else, that we have done a fantastic performance tonight, even if we have come away on the end of it in a defeat to Barcelona. But, 2-1 to Barcelona, it isn't a bad result, is it, when you look at it? It's a pretty decent chance and a pretty decent effort, and especially when you consider that, we started the game with Anthony Gordon up front. He's not exactly an out-and-out striker. He's more of a backup striker, and, we're starting the game with him up front, and we're coming away from this with a 2-1 loss, however, to Barcelona. But it feels like, a really good, valiant effort from the lads, but just unfortunately fell a little bit short with, of course, the chances. And, of course, Barcelona getting very, very lucky with their goalkeeper tonight in the way he was saving most of them shots from us. And I feel, to be honest as well, the referee wasn't the greatest referee tonight. Glenn Nyberg from Sweden, he was very dodgy. A couple of soft calls here and there. Maybe we could have seen Barcelona as well getting a red card in the game for that tackle on Bruno. When it showed you back, you could see that, Bruno had a mark on his leg. And, you've got to wonder, is it a red card? Because, Anthony Gordon got a red for a similar thing to Van Dijk, when we played them in the league. So could that have been a red card, tonight for Barcelona? Who knows? Let us know down in the comments below what you guys think. But till next time, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.